day away from the new year, and I've been doing some reflecting on my experiences throughout the year 2020. I wouldn't say that it was all that bad, except for when I lost my job. I actually had to quit my job because my postgrad work permit expired. Oh yeah, and COVID happened, which definitely ruined my chances of being outside and exploring Canada as a visitor. Not to mention, I am slowly depleting my savings. Without the help of family and friends, I'd be screwed totally. But yeah, guys, it's no big deal. But honestly, 2020 was a special year for me, as each month was filled with lessons. And I want to share with you guys what I've learned. So we can start with January. To start my year, I lost my job. My postgrad work permit expired and I was forced to quit. And for those of you wondering, I couldn't extend my postgrad work permit as it is only given once in a lifetime, and mine was only valid for 1 year. I also couldn't get an LMIA or a job offer due to organizational challenges. I did not show it, but deep down inside, this was my defeat. This feeling of hopelessness and despair was so surreal. I mean, I've anticipated this moment months leading up to the date. Somehow I thought that by thinking of this constantly, it would somehow lessen the blow. But if I'm being honest with myself, I still felt the impact of losing my work status here in Canada. When my postgrad work permit expired and I did not receive an invitation to apply for permanent residence, my first question was, where am I? What am I doing here? Like, I constantly checked the CRS score every single day, but it was never close to my actual score, which was 450 points. Yeah, I felt so confused, disoriented, and directionless. I just want to share this feeling because this is a feeling that many people in my position experience, but this is not often mentioned or talked about. So yeah, when my postgrad work permit expired, I had to convert my status to a visitor. In February, the dust settled and reality emerged. Here, I want to discuss the exact feelings I felt going from a postgrad work permit to a visitor visa. Prior to being a visitor, I was a student and then a worker. As a student, I was busy with exams, assignments, and projects, and I was basically surrounded by classmates and friends. As a worker, I was fulfilling my duties and responsibilities surrounded by clients and my colleagues. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is that I was busy and I had a schedule. When I transitioned to becoming a visitor, I lost all of that. It was an uneasy feeling, you guys. Having no alarm clock, having no routine, having nothing to look forward to. It came at me pretty hard. During this period, and actually I'm still living in this period, I stopped working and I had to live off of my savings that I built for 1 year. Which was not a lot, to be honest with you guys. That's why during that month and in that moment, I questioned my self-worth and my identity. During March, I was starting to feel a little better about myself. I figured if I was here on a visitor, I might as well enjoy Vancouver in its prettiest season, which is springtime. But boom, COVID happened. There was a lockdown and suddenly the world changed. Yeah, this pandemic amplified my worry as I didn't have medical coverage, which leaves me exposed to this infectious virus. I had to stay put, I had to stay home, and basically March was a month of nothing. April came around and I was okay in adjusting with the COVID situation. I also recall looking at the express entry draws constantly, paying particular attention to the CRS cutoff score. IRCC at the time was doing program-specific draws for CEC or Canadian Experience Class applicants. Sadly, I was always close, but never close enough. That triggered my anxiety and it definitely did get the best of me. I had to endure a lot of sleepless nights. I wasn't really eating properly. And yeah, it impacted me emotionally and physically. I often cried about my situation in private, but I hid it well because I don't really like expressing my emotions. Plus, I didn't really want to burden anyone with my problems. I was cruising along in May, minding my own business when all of a sudden, I received an ITA or an invitation to apply for PR. The cutoff score on May 14 was at 447. My score was at 450. I received the golden email congratulating me for receiving an invitation to apply for permanent residence, and guys, I was so psyched. I was so stoked. The first thing that I did was to call my mom to tell her about the news. Like my hands were shaking and I couldn't sit still. Guys, I waited 7 months for this moment. 7 months! And 7 months can be an extremely long time for this moment. I felt like the weight was lifted off and like I felt so free. It's like the feeling of riding your bike for the very first time with no training wheels. It feels like the type of freedom where you can express yourself freely with no judgment. And that day finally came to me. In that moment, I felt so happy and I was so excited. But I know that this is where the battle begins. For June, I'll keep it short and sweet because this month was mostly dedicated to completing my documents for my PR. That's it. So in July, I decided to revive my YouTube channel. I wanted to create an avenue where I could express my thoughts, my feelings, and of course my experiences on immigration. I want to do it with a purpose, meaning, and of course, a direction. Most importantly, I want to do it starting with the truth. Let's face it, the truth is something that may scare you, but I wanted to show you what it's like going through the process. And good news for you guys because I can be your sacrificial lamb, or as Enrique Iglesias would put it, I can be your hero, baby. And yeah, I started with my first video on life being an international student here in Canada. By the way, if you're finding value in what I'm sharing today, it would really mean a lot to me if you could please like and subscribe to my channel. Okay, I'm gonna speed this up a little bit and kind of just combine some of the months since not a lot of things happen around this time. From August to November, I dedicated all my efforts to give you guys quality information on immigration. I produce videos on case studies, which detail stories of real applicants getting deported or their application refused, teaching us to avoid certain mistakes. I made videos on Real Talk, which discusses immigration pitfalls. The reason why I did this is to clarify certain misconceptions on immigration. I also have a series of do-it-yourself videos to help those or guide those going through the process. Money and Finance was also a series that I made as I wanted to show you guys the true cost of immigration. And of course, I did various other series such as news and updates and Express Entry draws. The more videos I post, the more I feel connected with you guys. Some of you even personally messaged me your experiences and I'm very grateful to have read that. Some of you have motivated me to power through during this very awkward period in my life, which is why I want to take this time to thank those of you that were with me from the beginning and those that are with me right now. I want to let you know that you guys are fuel for my passion. Now we're here. We're finally in the last month of the year. For this month, I expected a decision on my PR application, but sadly it's been delayed. But after reflecting on my lengthy journey, I figured it's okay to wait a little bit longer. Plus, I have you guys to entertain, so win-win. If I were to summarize 2020 in one word, it would be determination. I could have stopped. I could have turned this ship around and sailed back. I could have quit. I could have hopped on that plane and went back home. Actually, I bought a one-way ticket back home in June, but I knew my calling was here. And it was my determination and my conviction that kept me here. So I dug my trench and I was willing to fight the good fight. I want to fire everything that I had until I ran out of bullets. I crawled and I stood firmly on my 2 feet. And so I faced this head on. Determination. It's what kept me focused at my high points. It's what kept me going to where I am now. I want you to understand that life is tough, but it's more about how tough you are in dealing with life's challenges. There may be times of darkness, there may be times you'll feel small. Sometimes you cannot control what is around you, but only what is within you. Which is why I encourage you to take that step in applying and take that step in challenging yourself. Because the process is not what defines you. It's what you become from the process that makes you who you are. Anyway, that's it. That's all I have for the year 2020. I hope the best for everyone going into 2021. Also, follow me on my socials. I have a TikTok and an Instagram account. That's at RRDencel. So yeah, feel free to hit me up there if you want. I can't feel my face, and I can't feel my feet anymore. So yeah, it's a good time to wrap things up. Thank you again. Keep safe. And of course, I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.